It's been a few weeks since things hit the fan in regards to the Cracker Barrel situation, and I'm just wondering, right? Because even Trump, after he came out, because what was it? Yeah, Trump made the statement, and then like within 24 hours, they made their big reversal that, geez, hey, we hear you guys. Don't worry, we said that we heard you yesterday, but today we really hear you, so we're going back to the original logo. But Trump had made the proclamation that, you know, if you guys take all of this word of mouth, all of this attention that you have right now, you can go ahead and try to spin that into something a lot more positive. And well, you can take a look at the 1 month spread that I have pulled out right here, and yeah, they haven't even got back to their pre-debacle stock prices, and in fact they're even lower than at any point in the past, because I only got a month, so they're down 11 points in the past month, down 3.71 points year to date. But hey, it's not as bad as it was during its lowest point in April of this year. So I guess you can take you can take the good with the bad when it comes to that. But there's a reason that the stocks continue to crumble, because it was so much more. The problems with Cracker Barrel were just simply so much more than an ill-advised logo rebranding, than, stripping the aesthetic of the restaurant in order to replace it with a generic corporate slop. It's the restaurant itself had been suffering for a very long time, because we got some insider information here that before the logo fiasco, Cracker Barrel had quietly started serving day-old biscuits, microwaved meatloaf from its employees. Bro, what are we doing? Okay, so it's not just Cracker Barrel's ill-fated logo change that had been irking customers, as corporate bean counters this year quietly forced the chain to serve up day-old biscuits and microwaved meatloaf. The Post has learned the unsavory menu staples at the folksy restaurant, including biscuits that had arrived at tables hard, rubbery, and like a rock. But not even like old Jumanji rock, but like the new Venice Film Festival rock. They were the result of a non-public February directive that prioritized cost savings and efficiency over customer satisfaction, multiple employees told the Post. Oh shit. Instead of making biscuits fresh each day, as Cracker Barrel kitchens had done for years, the chain's 650 locations were ordered to bake them a day in advance and freeze them, then reheat them in hot boxes the next day, one veteran cook told the Post. Yo. Like, that's alright if you're doing that stuff at home for your own meal prep and stuff. It's just, you're a restaurant, bro. Okay, people want biscuits that are buttery and soft. Yeah, I know. The most common complaint we've gotten is that our biscuits are sometimes like a rock. No, you just need to come in on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, because we do our baking on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. So yeah, if you could just go ahead. Don't come in on Saturdays for sure, because that's when we just, is when we do a little bit of pantry cleaning. Anyways, likewise, Cracker Barrel's signature meatloaf was cooked the day before and tossed into the microwave for just over a minute before serving. Another stealthy measure to save money, according to sources. Bro, that's unforgivable. Okay, before we cooked it in the oven, and we cook it, and the cook would cut it up still in the pan, in which our pan was in our steam line. It was fresher. Yes, as shortly after last month's logo backlash, the company scrapped its penny pinching strategies for food prep, sources told the Post. Both edicts came down after embattled Cracker Barrel CEO Julie Felss Masino, who sent the company's stock tumbling last year when she admitted that the chain was not as relevant as we once were, axed prep cooks, and more recently cut workers' hours, according to sources. Really? The changes to how the food is prepared were to account for the labor shortages in the kitchen, said the veteran cook. I wonder, so you're cutting costs, and then you're also cutting staff, and then you're also cutting on quality. What's actually left, okay, as reported by the Post, Cracker Barrel's meatloaf attracted social media attention last month when the TikToker posted a video that purported to have been taken outside of one of the chain's kitchens. We throw it in the microwave and then we serve it to you, according to the video. Oof, which panned to a stack of trays allegedly filled with prepackaged meatloaf, and sometimes it's still cold. Bro. It's not just the biscuits and meatloaf that have suffered. Bacon has similarly been pre-cooked, oh god, as of this year, and stored in a hot box until it's served. Yo. That's the thing, man. You want crispy bacon? I don't care how long you keep it in a hot box. It's not going to be staying crispy for very long. That's just gross. Our green beans, pinto beans, turnips, corn, and carrots, it used to be cooked in big pots on the stove, and now we put them in pans in the oven the day before. Oh, they think it's more efficient, but the corn and the carrots lose their taste. Yeah, when you bake them and add too much water, it feels like it's overcooked. Yeah, exactly. So now you just get mush that I guess like 80-year-olds probably appreciate, but for anybody who still has working taste buds, they weren't stressed out by the war, yeah, you're probably gonna have a problem with that. Before the cuts, Cracker Barrel's kitchen staff is making biscuits fresh on as needed basis. Yes, but could still crank out dozens in 9 minutes. Yes, according to one employee. Yeah, because you probably have a pretty efficient system, given that you guys have been operating like that for decades. Yeah, but they're made almost to order. Really, we go through them so fast. Yeah, shit, no doubt. Nevertheless, management got concerned that too many biscuits, sometimes as many as 4 trays, totaling nearly 100, were being thrown out at the end of the day. Oh no, because you also wanted to, okay, and this is another thing, because we talked about this as well, all of the do-gooder charities that, this bitch wants to go ahead and affix the brand to, couldn't you take all of those other biscuits that you were making and perhaps drop them off at the end of the day at, like, a food kitchen or something like that? And yeah, I think, like homeless folks would probably be more than happy with the day-old biscuits as opposed to the paying customer, and at the same time you could go ahead and kill 2 birds with 1 stone, or a day-old biscuit, by looking good and actually doing good instead of, supporting a bunch of goofy-ass pride shit and then also stripping your company of any relevance. Yeah, if that's something you wanted to cry, that our business is not quite as popular as or relevant as it used to be, you just want to go ahead and make it even more generic, more assembly line, yeah. But that's what this current CEO has to say, and I cannot believe even at this point she hasn't handed in a resignation. That's got to be coming, right? Or maybe they're waiting until, the end of this quarter to just clean house, send her on an early Christmas vacation. I would have to think that has got to be coming, right? But as for one of the co-founders out here, I mean, he's not holding back, and he, at this point in time, even at 93 years young, has more common sense than Julie Felss Masino ever could have had. But Cracker Barrel co-founder slams a rebranding disaster, throwing money out the window. Tommy Lowe, who co-founded Cracker Barrel with his late friend Dan Evans, says the chain's modern logo rebrand is pitiful. Tommy Lowe, the 93-year-old co-founder of Cracker Barrel, slammed the restaurant's chain executive Thursday, saying they learned an expensive "I told you so" lesson after abandoning their modernized logo following mega backlash. Lowe told WTVF that he and his friend, the late Dan Evans, were driving forces behind the first Cracker Barrel, which opened in Tennessee in 1969. With the help of 10 others, they raised $10,000 to get the restaurant's kitchen up and running. So back then, Cracker Barrel wasn't a sure bet. The outlet's Carrie Sharp asked Lowe, it wasn't a bet at all. It's just a country store for country people, and that's what it is today. That I don't understand. Lowe was referring to Cracker Barrel's CEO, Julie Felss Masino, who led the chain's $700 million modernization initiative, including a simplified logo that removed the iconic barrel and Uncle Herschel. He dismissed the redesign as pitiful, saying Masino's fast food background left her disconnected from the heart of Cracker Barrel's identity. Yeah, because she did the exact same shit to Taco Bell, and are they a company that's in a better shape and in a much more recognizable position than they were prior to her reign? I don't think so. They're trying to modernize it to become like the competition. Cracker Barrel doesn't have any competition. Yes, Lowe told the outlet. I heard, she was at Taco Bell. What's Taco Bell know about Cracker Barrel and country food? They need to work on the food service and leave the barrel, the logo, alone. Lowe added, spending $700 million doing that is throwing money out the window. I mean, $700 million on that? Bro. As fucking generic as you're getting. I need is a couple of cans of primer and a few big garbage bags to take down all the tchotchkes off the walls. Yeah, I don't think that I would do it for $650 million. Trust me, I could have done this cheaper. Masino was named Cracker Barrel's president and CEO in July of 2023. After taking the role, she began updating the menu, interior design, and pricing, and also, instituting some cost-cutting measures. While these early changes largely went unnoticed by customers, they popped up. Our most recent move quickly drew national attention, prompting executives to side with customers and reinstate the old-timer logo. Tommy Lowe, who served as Cracker Barrel's vice president of operations and spent decades on the board of directors, said that he never met Masino and doesn't believe she even knows who he is. Yes, so Lowe remembered a Grand Ole Opry performer named String Bean, who warned the founders in its early days to keep it country. He's now sending the same warning to Cracker Barrel's current leadership. Ignore it and a business could stumble. If they don't get back to keeping it country, then it ain't gonna work. Exactly, because you're seeing it right now play out. Stock is in the shitter. It is on a downward trajectory, the likes of which hasn't been as bad as it has been under Masino's reign of terror, but it could very quickly spiral out of control. And so with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.